I'd like to take just a quick look at some little polyrhythm exercises, some examples for getting comfortable with polyrhythms. So the very first thing, just to recap what we would have done in class, what is a polyrhythm? So basically a polyrhythm is when there are two time signatures going on at the same time and they have a shared bar length. So their pulse length will be different, but their bar length will be the same. In the very, very simplest form, we can take that as two time signatures played at the same time rather than just multiple time signatures. We're going to take a couple of examples of two time signatures played at the same time. There are three really common ones to learn. The first is 3/2, and it often appears like this: 3:2, 3/2. And this is a polyrhythm that combines 3/4 or 3/8 or 3/16, although that'd be very, very rare. So most commonly 3/4 and 2/4 at the same time. So with that, it has 3 beats in a bar on one set of pulses, and on the other set of pulses, the other time signature, it only has 2 in the bar. If you're going to program this in your DAW, the way to do it is to use the higher number time signature and use 8 note divisions, and then you'll get a pattern like this. As you can see here, if you were counting in 3/4, you're getting 1 and 2 and 3 and you're getting 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and you end up with a pattern like this. Where the ones line up every single time, and then it goes out of sync in the rest of the bar and back around to the 1 again. So I'm just going to pop into Logic for a second to program that up. So in Logic, I'm going to create a MIDI region. I am in 3/4, I'm in 16th note divisions, which is far too much. So let's take a pattern where we get 3 notes in a bar. And let's put this into 8 note divisions so it's easier to see. And then I want to say match. And then be on the and of the 2. If we were to drag this out to get it to loop, now I have the same pattern repeating again and again, but that's as simple. That's how we go about even programming it. I have one pattern in 3 and 1 and 2. I could, of course, swap these around. It doesn't have to be that my low pattern is my 3 and my high is my 2. I could swap the other way around. You get the very basic idea of that there. Another really, really common pattern is the 4/3. And again, in oversimplification here, this is a polyrhythm that contains 4/4 and 3/4 at the same time. So one part has 4 beats in the bar and the other has 3 beats in the bar. If you're going to program this in your DAW, it's best to use the higher number time signature, but you'll need to put your DAW in kind of triplet time. This will give us the common divisions between it. So you can see here, if I was counting 4/4 as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so in triplet time, in triplet divisions, I'll get my note spacings falling evenly, and that gives me a pattern like this. Where one hand is playing 4 and one hand is playing 3. And let's jump out to Logic and do the same thing again. Let's program this up in Logic. So if I'm in Logic, I'm in 4/4. I'm going to put it into 12th notes, so I will get my triplet count, and I'll do the same thing again. I'll program my notes on each beat, and then above that, I'll program the division of 3. And then if I duplicate that and play it, you can see every bar comes back into time. And as I said before, it doesn't need to be that my lower is one division or the other, I could swap and have either hand doing either division. So if I'm listening to this, I can count the lower pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or I can count the high pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Both rhythms are happening at the exact same time. There is also the 5/4 polyrhythm. That's a polyrhythm combining both 5/4 and 4/4 at the same time. So one part has 5 beats in a bar, the other part has 4 beats in a bar. If you wish to program this in the DAW, it's again best to use the higher number time signature, but in this case you're going to put your divisions into 16th notes, and that will give us common divisions between the two. So you can see in 5/4 here, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 5E, and the 5/4 pulse lands on each of the counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 4/4 pattern lands every 5 16th notes, and it falls just between them. That should sound something like this. Something along those lines. If we program that up in Logic, so we ensure we're in 5/4, I change my division to 16. I create a MIDI region. I put a note on each of the pulses in 5/4, and then put a second note every 5 16th notes. And I'll end up with something along the lines of this. If I have gotten past the point of programming the polyrhythms and hearing them, the best way to internalize them is to play them in some manner. This can be, say, with one pattern per hand, as I was clicking at the start. Or tapping. Or if you have a MIDI controller or a piano, actually playing that as part of it. Once you're comfortable with the basic patterns, to get that next step or next level of comfort, often the best thing to do is to keep practicing playing them, but to swap each hand, say, on each bar. So what I mean by that is if you're practicing the 4/3 polyrhythm and your right hand is playing the 4 part, after each bar, swap hands. So in bar 1, it's your right, bar 2, it's your left playing the 4, and the right playing the 3, bar 3. So and it'll take some time to get used to, but you can kind of repeat that until you get fluent, and then maybe move it to the keyboard. And you want to keep getting, you want to internalize it, you want it to become muscle memory. When you get comfort to that point where you can kind of play it like that, what you want to do is to practice this with a time signature to click. So practice it both, if I'm playing the 4/3 polyrhythm, practice it first with a 4/4 click, then practice it again with the 3/4 click, learning to feel both divisions or both the polyrhythm over both of the different time signatures. And then to go further with that, once you're comfortable with that, practice that with the swapping hands each bar.